Well, let's get this party started before JR's camera disappears again.
Dies again. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, man. How's
Well, we gotta get
everyone
all.
doing this Saturday
Man,
night, man?
we're doing a lot better now, man. It has been a crazy, crazy busy last couple of days. It's been a crazy
Mm-hmm.
busy day today
Yeah.
for comic book fans here in the Coachella Valley. Um,
Mm-hmm.
First and foremost, let's start things off. Let's talk about the our friends over in Palm Desert. We've talked about them before. We'll talk about them again. It is
Mm-hmm.
Comic Asylum. It is their birthday, their anniversary, their big shindig. Here's the
Mm-hmm.
chick and Javelle. It is the 6th anniversary of
Yep.
Comic Asylum Palm Desert.
Yep.
We did not get to celebrate the last 2 anniversaries, which is a big. Um,
Yeah.
it's kind of it's funny. On the calendar, JR, there's a lot of days like this.
Yeah.
New Year's Eve, Super Bowl Sunday,
Yep.
Cinco de Mayo. They call them drinking holidays.
Yeah.
Well, for some of us, we circle the last week. We circle the last weekend in May around the anniversary of Comic Asylum as a drinking day. Um, many of a Saturday in May we have spent
Mhm.
at the asylum celebrating the anniversary. Um,
Yes, we
drinking
do.
with Q,
Yep.
getting Q very drunk
Yep.
to the point where he just gives away the shop.
Yep.
But yeah, so congratulations to them. It is arguably one of the most difficult things to do, especially in this day and age, is to run a successful comic book store and to stay open.
Yep.
And they have defied those odds. So congratulations, guys! And
Yeah, man.
amazing artist at the
Yep.
store. This
Yeah, Pablo. He is currently he's currently there now. I would just I've been hanging out there since like 7 o'clock, dude. I like literally asked like what time it is, right? And so someone's like, "Oh, it's 7 o'clock." Like, "Oh crap, I gotta go. I gotta do a podcast." I was there. I was there from like 3 o'clock to 7:20, I think, right? So I had to leave.
okay.
But like, yeah, everybody was there. It was cool seeing Chick and Javelle again, man. Just I haven't been going there as often because injuries. Getting older sucks, bro. And so
Tell me
I've
about it.
been. Oh yeah, I told them about that, man. Like, oh yeah, there. I will attest though. It's definitely still drinking day over there.
Oh
They
yeah,
yeah. I remember I bought a Patron from them. I think either last year or like 2 years prior. I
no,
forgot
I think it was
exactly when.
yeah, it was like 2 or 3 years
Last year.
ago. I remember that.
Yeah, no, I think it was last year, honestly, because I think that was the last time Z's been going around consistently because of COVID or whatever. And I think it was last year. And because I bought Patron there and it's still there. And so we were definitely taking shots.
Good, good.
Yeah, we were definitely taking shots, man. So, but
Well, I know,
overall, it was a great time seeing them again.
yeah, and I know I wanted to make it over to Costco and get Q a big bottle of Terramana, which
Mm,
is of course Dwayne Johnson's tequila, and of course uh, I've always referred to Q as Maui
mm,
because he's a big dude and he's
yeah.
Pacific Islander.
Yep.
But I just didn't make it over to Costco to get that. But anyways, why are we here on a Saturday afternoon, night, evening, whatever you want to call it?
Mm.
It is not to talk about the Batman. No, we're gonna
Not
just
yet.
put that not yet.
Yeah, not yet.
But I will tell you this much: we are going to talk about a man we've known by a bunch of different names. We've known him as Ben. We've known him as Ben Kenobi. We've known him
Mm-hmm.
as Jedi Master Obi-Wan. We've known him as General Kenobi.
Kenobi. Yep.
We've known him by a bunch of names. But now, for the next 6 episodes, we will know him just simply as his full name, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Mm-hmm.
He is the titular character of the new series Obi-Wan that we're going to talk about for the next few minutes on Disney Plus. Now, set the stage for this one, JR. Oh, by the way,
Yeah.
before we get any further, he
Sure.
is JR Kumbakungan,
How
also
y'all doing?
not JR Comics 42 on Instagram. He is
Yep.
the Dark King. I am Kevin Pill at Voice of Reason 23.
Yes,
on
he
all social
is.
media platforms. And again, we are here to talk about Obi-Wan Kenobi, episode number 1 today. Actually, well, I take that back.
Number 2.
I need to make a little edit there because, JR, you and I and the
Uh-huh.
rest of the Star Wars Nation were treated to a nice little treat. We got 2 episodes yesterday.
We did.
Um, there was mixed reviews about this.
Yeah.
When they released the first episode to critics about a month ago, it was getting some kind of questionable reviews. And then as we got closer, a few people kind of sat on it a little bit and waited to give their reviews. And I know that as we led up to the premiere yesterday, was this as a character piece was getting very glowing comparisons to 2 projects, of course, that were directed by, was it James Mangold,
Mm-hmm.
and of course one of them being Logan, and the
Mm-hmm.
other one being, I believe it was Joker is the one that he did, right? Did he do Joker?
I don't think he did Joker.
Okay, well,
James
he did
Mangold.
Logan, but
Yeah.
there was comparisons of this being a character who's not necessarily as deranged as Joker was, but just from a character standpoint, it was being given comparisons to those 2 movies, which is high praise. Though I've never seen the Joker.
Yeah.
Logan is an absolute masterpiece. And I remember, Jerry, you texted me about midday yesterday, and you were like,
Yeah.
a little schoolgirl on Christmas morning, just giddy.
Yeah, it was definitely the first episode. Definitely the first episode watching it, and yeah, there was a lot of expletives, a lot of like, yeah, this is the shit that I fucking live for when it comes to this specific period piece, because yeah, it's just great to see even back. Like, it's great to see him as Obi, and not, and not wanting to shy away from the Star Wars universe for a decade, right? It's nice to have that, because I do know that for quite a while, specifically now looking back, and I understand we have a level of recency bias as well as hindsight bias, where yeah, the prequel sequels, man, weren't really looked at kindly. It
No.
wasn't, right? It was like a very rushed thing because people still wanted that type of regency of, like, the original sequels. It's the original sequels. We want to see the original people, right? Blah 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 blah, rather than expansive universe. And I feel like, it was so new in the sense of Star Wars, where it's trying to expand upon things that George didn't really get his full vision out. And so with the span of 10 years now, I think, not 20 years, let's say 10 years, because the Clone Wars saga started somewhere between the original Star Wars animated Clone Wars saga started somewhere between like 2001, or actually 1990 something, to 2004, 2005, and the Clone Wars saga quickly was after that until I think like 2006 all the way to 2013, because that's when they originally got bought from Disney. And then that Clone Wars saga animated series is the reason why people look now fondly on the original trilogies, because you see proper character motivations really flesh out there, and you see Ben as this very loving, not father figure, but more so just this character that's very much a brother to Anakin.
Yeah.
And we see that a lot. We see very much the old, grizzled, I fucked up Ben Kenobi, and how much he does not, and how much he dwells on his failure, type of thing. And seeing that transition from the Obi-Wan that was in the Clone Wars saga, the anime series, to the end of Return of Revenge of the Sith, and the Kenobi we have now, quite literally, what, almost 20 years now since the prequel sequels, right?
Well, I think that they had. Well, yeah, for us, yeah, it's been about 20 years since the prequels
Yeah.
have come and gone. And it's funny. There was a couple of videos, and I'm sure a lot of it had to do with, I'm sure, Lucasfilms pressuring them to say it. But I know that genuinely over the years, Ewan McGregor has said that, obviously there was certain things about the prequel trilogies, the prequel trilogy that
Right.
maybe
Yeah.
missed. But for the
Yep.
most part, he looks fondly on them,
Yeah.
and really, I have my critiques, and you can go back to, by the way, in the archives and search out our, especially on YouTube. Go to YouTube.
Mm.
Go to my YouTube channel. Go to if
Yeah.
you're not watching there, at Voice of Reason 23 on YouTube.
Mm.
And search out the playlist Star Wars and watch some of our old videos. And we had our love and our hate for the original, for the prequel trilogies, most
Yeah.
specifically Phantom Menace. But
Yeah.
you think about some of the great characters that we got out of it. Obviously, Ewan McGregor's Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah.
Um, say what you want, Hayden Christensen's Anakin was pretty iconic, both
Yeah.
positive and negatively. Qui-Gon was great, but
Yeah.
and it was great was to kind of tie into Obi-Wan. We start off, I mean, we're not just going to break it down, but just kind of give our
No.
review on it. But
Yeah. Man.
one of my favorite parts was the very beginning of episode 1 gives us about seemed like about a 5 or 10 minute review
Yeah.
of the life of not only Obi-Wan, but just kind of what led us to here.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, there at times was a little emotional. Of course, they had to play I have the higher ground, and I geeked for that.
Yeah.
They had to play it. But yeah, it got things off on a good start, and say what you want about the sequel trilogies, or sorry, the prequel trilogies. Um, it's what got us to here, and man, that show kind of just got off right on a hot foot.
Mm-hmm.
We see the Inquisitors, which I
Yep.
know, JR, you were, since the first trailer came out,
Yeah.
you have been kind of geeking about not only the Inquisitors, but the
Yeah.
Grand Inquisitor. This is a
Yeah.
character that is near and dear to your heart because you love the
It's
cartoons.
the Grand Inquisitors made their first appearance, I think, in Rebels, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because of how we're just gonna go straight into it, right? Straight into it.
Yep.
Like it's been about a couple of days now, a day, right? And for spoiler alert, right? Grand Inquisitor dies in the second episode, right? And
Mhm.
initially you were thinking like, oh, dude, that's fucking weird, right? What the hell? He's such a very dominating character. Well, prequel was, uh, spoilers again. He died in Rebels, so it's weird because Rebels specifically is in a timeline where it should be earlier than Obi-Wan, and not only that, but the Grand Inquisitor specifically has now died in canon 2 other times. Or one other time, right? You have his cinematic debut, his television debut, or whatever, this live action debut.
Live action.
Dies in the second episode. Rebels, I think, died near the end of Rebels. And he also fought Luke in the comics. He fought Luke in the comics. I forgot. He died in the comics against Luke. And so you have this weird thing of either retconning or they're playing around the fact of possibly cloning, too.
I know that some people have said to kind of, in Jared's right. I think in chronological order, I believe the events of Rebels takes place before Obi-Wan.
So it's gonna be interesting, specifically if we're following that chronological order. Granted, Obi-Wan isn't necessarily made from Filoni, right? This is Kathleen Kennedy's thing. This is the actress, no, the director Deborah Chow, and I forgot who the writers are. But they lean heavily on Dave Filoni's work, right? Dave Filoni talked to Deborah about how the universe works, and she actually has leaned on him in past interviews as well, just trying to figure out how to make a story within this universe. And so I know that she was given a lot of room to play, and I do know that this is they went through a first round of scripts and stories, right? And they weren't necessarily too happy with the first round of drafts, so they had to remake it. So I'm wondering if it is. I don't want to go that diversity route, Man, I don't want to go with that. I wonder if it was more heavily based on Obi-Wan and the story was in that because we see throughout the series is a lot more heavily leaning into like girl power, and nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. It's just more so the root of this girl power seems very not forced, but very out of place type of thing for me. Specifically when one, like this thing is near and dear to my heart, and like I just can't believe, they're doing it. The third sister, right? Reva, she's basically Trilla from the video games, Fallen Order. She's basically Trilla.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. The second sister is Trilla Sudera. The third sister is Reva. They're both they're both people of color, both black. The only difference is that Trilla has the English accent. She has a huge devotion. I was about to say a hard on, but devotion to Darth Vader, and she is wanting. And if you play Fallen Order, you play Fallen Order, right? It's a great video game. I recommend for people to watch it, or for people to play it, or see the story through that ends. And you see, for me, I see a lot of comparisons or a lot of like influences from Fallen Order, which came out in 2019 in Kenobi, where cheap plug.
Well, I actually hit the wrong button, but
yeah, which funny enough, I'm no one going tangent, but then the second iteration of that video game is coming out, the sequel, like they had it on because Star Wars is still like Star Wars Days celebration now, and they just announced the second the sequel to the Fallen Order. I think it's called Star Wars Survivor. Yeah, but anyways, going forward, yeah, and that too. The character Cal Kestis, Cal Kestis, he is a survivor of Order 66, and funny enough, we get the first scene, Order 66, a bunch of kids surviving that.
Oh my gosh, that was
amazing. That was cool.
That was brutal.
It was definitely a type of thing like cool. They're really gonna play around with where they're really gonna play around with along with Padawan surviving post Jedi Order, right?
Yeah.
And how that little talk of when the initial Padawan talk with Obi-Wan, right? Like what happened to you? When that I forget his name, the Padawan who grew up meets Obi-Wan in the desert, and says like,
he's a Jedi that in the first scene we see the Grand Inquisitor, first sister or third sister, and
fifth sister, fifth brother, who is Sun Kang. He was also in Rebels. Shout out to Sun Kang, man. I freaking love that guy. He is currently you know him as Han in Fast and Furious.
Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
But there is a there's a Jedi that they're trying to track down in the opening scene. And it was interesting. I was trying to figure out. I was like, okay, who are they going after? And I thought they were going after. Was it Ninjali? What's his name? The guy that's in the Eternals. He's also
him.
Yeah. I thought that's who they were, because they were teasing him a lot. Leading up to, of course, we get introduced to his character later, which I was like, I'm still kind of iffy about.
Yeah.
But then we get introduced to this random characters, random Jedi. So we do see that there are what one, like JR said, would be assume is people who survived Order 66 and are looking to continue their
training,
kind of their training, so to speak. And I know that this Jedi was trying to somehow miraculously track down Obi-Wan in the desert, but it doesn't seem like they're going to shy away from it. It seems pretty brutal how the Grand Inquisitors are going to treat both Jedi and those who harbor them.
It's definitely very much comic accurate to a certain extent, right? Because the Grand Inquisitors, they're of course they're the personified representations of the Inquisition, right? And the Inquisition is the one of the worst things that have ever existed at the time for heretics and that. And so I understand that standpoint. It's just that, like, man, just seeing this, I forgot the actress's name who plays Reva, man, but I'm like, dude, y'all couldn't really get Trilla. You couldn't really get the actress who portrayed Trilla. Dude, just do this, bro. It's like I wanted
Well,
that to happen
I
so
was under the
badly.
impression that,
Hmm.
and again, you are more familiar with the games and the animated series and the comic
Hmm.
books and stuff like that, and kind of the extended universe. I was under the impression that Reva is a new original character, but you're
Yeah,
saying this is a kind of an amalgamation from a character in the video games.
the first. This is should be Obi-Wan Kenobi or Obi-Wan. This is their first appearance, right? But for me, so much so that a lot of her habits, the type of like ferocity this character has, the type of devotion she wants to Darth Vader. Just if you played the game, man, it's like, dude, this is Trilla. Other than the accent, this is basically Trilla type of
Okay.
thing for me. And so, like for you have an actress already that played this part, and it would for me, it would then solidify the fact that Fallen Order is canon if you had the actress go on to
Yeah.
play the part she was going to do. I feel like that would have been it because they were also teasing for quite a while that we might see Cal Kestis somewhere in the Star Wars universe. And for those who don't know who played Cal Kestis, it's he played, I guess, Kid Joker or Joker in Gotham, in Gotham PD on the CW, I think, or I
Oh,
forgot.
okay.
No, on Fox, right? Or he played. If you remember him, he was. If you ever watch, oh man, there was that show, dude. I can't forget. I forgot when I forgot this particular show where it had to do with a lot with like mental health, where the sister was raising like her brothers and sisters, but he was in that show as well. The guy who played Cal Kestis, if you see his face, you know what he looks like.
Gotcha.
He's still that same age, right? He's still very much that same age. And for a long time, I thought too, like he could be like the game version of Ezra Bridger, and he could probably cross over. But now because Filoni is Filoni and he's gonna take over, there's a possibility that we might have a lot of these branch through. So this crossing of like quote unquote universes of mediums can
Yeah.
take place, can easily take place in the cinematic universe of Star Wars. But anyways, going from away from that tangent, the overall feel of the first episode for me was very much in that damn, this is a broken man.
Yeah.
Like and that was what I wanted because like he had to kill his best friend. He killed his brother. He didn't kill his son. He killed his brother. And
Kills his
I
brother.
think we made that point. I made that point much earlier in my I guess explanation of who Anakin needed growing up. He needed Qui-Gon, who was more the father figure, but
Yeah.
he got Obi-Wan, who was more of his brother than his master type of thing. And I feel like a combination of both would have definitely helped out Anakin to be, to be the person who would bring balance to the Force. But because of just upbringing and because of the strict rules of the Jedi Order of the time of the Republic, it was just a bad shot, as well as losing Ahsoka. Losing Ahsoka, I think, was the biggest thing for him. Where Ahsoka just like I don't really shun the Jedi Order, but she had to leave it because it wasn't the initial ideals of who a Jedi mean. It was just a
What?
military force.
Because you've watched Rebels and Clone Wars all the way through.
Mm,
So I'm sure there's a lot of holes that I'm missing.
yeah,
Um, where was Ahsoka? Where did Ahsoka get her training? I know that she was
yeah. Oh,
trained by Anakin.
yep,
But did she attend
yeah.
the Jedi? Was she in the Jedi Temple? Where what did they address where she was during Order 66?
Yeah, actually, season five, which was the last season before season five of War saga, before they got bought by Disney. That was the most spoiler alert. That was the most pivotal episode because you see, I think it was the ending. I'm pretty sure it was the ending of that. It was a cliffhanger of Ahsoka leaving the Jedi Temple, leaving the Jedi Order, because of how much they were so against the beliefs of an actual Jedi. They were just a militaristic force at the time. They were not they were not a peacekeeping force. They were just a force to push the Republic's ideals and and then take away, and as well as like what do you call it, oversee the separatists. And so she became a Ronin, right? Yeah, I've said this example before. That Jedis are basically samurais,
Yeah.
right? Jedi's are basically samurais, Mandalorians are gunslingers, and so she became Ronin, and she foregone this version of the Jedi Order. So she left the temple she left the temple during Order 66, and then when Order 66 actually happened, she was fighting in Mandalore. If I remember correctly, she was fighting in Mandalore, and it was with one of the amazing fucking captains. I forgot his name. It's just they're all the same. It's the clones, right? But
Yeah.
this particular captain, you see him throughout the entirety of Clone Wars, and he was there, right, when Order 66 happened. And this sadly was never really shown in the in any of the movies where, you had clones and Jedi's fighting with each other, knowing each other's names, knowing each other's, what they wanted to do after the war, what their hopes, desires, and dreams, and they had something implemented in them, which was a great episode in I think season 4, season 5, where one of the clones found out about the whole conspiracy of Order 66 happening. And he tried to tell everybody, and he was killed because of it. And so you have Ahsoka there. She was in a Starcraft, and when it happened, she was lucky enough to get away. She had a fight, absolutely, but she was still lucky enough to not be where the majority of the Jedi were being killed, which was the Jedi Temple. And so, yeah, that's the reason why she was able to get away. She's in Rebels. She was in Rebels, which I think took place a couple of years after Revenge, and since then she has been trying to find, oh my gosh, I forgot the general commander's name, dude. Thrawn. She'd been trying to find Thrawn since, because supposedly Thrawn has Ezra Miller, Ezra Bridger in his possession. So Ezra it was one of the main characters or actually technically the main character of Rebels. So it's like it's all gonna come full circle. I'm gonna be happy when Ahsoka, the TV shows, gonna come by, because from what I'm hearing, they've been having a fucking great time. But going back to Obi-Wan, again, I am loving this version of it, and I'm so glad they're slow burning it. Particularly the first episode, because like we needed this. You needed an hour of just this man who was given everything, having nothing, and trying to cope with his decisions, and coping with the fact that he possibly killed his brother, and that he now is a shell of himself. And he's been saying it multiple times that he's a shell of himself. So it's great. Also, it's been great to see that I forgot his name, the uncle.
Uncle Owen.
Yeah, Uncle Owen, right? The actor who plays him.
Who returns is the guy who played him from the prequel trilogies.
Yep.
It was interesting to see him, and we kind of got a tease of it in the trailer, was that he was excited and happy to take this orphan from Obi-Wan, and obviously we know over the years, having watched episode 4, watching A New Hope, that Owen knows who Anakin was. He knows who Luke's father is.
Yep.
And he's wanting to keep that. He wants to keep that away from him. So the idea is still there. That, but I was still kind of shocked. I was like, wow, you and your wife couldn't have kids.
Yep.
And you are given your
cousins.
I guess your cousin's
cousin's
child.
Yep.
And it just, and again, it's a character piece.
Yep.
But it just seemed that Owen was ungrateful, or came across that way. But at the same time, it's understandable that he knows what's out there. He knows that the Empire is growing. He knows that Darth Vader is out there. He knows that Anakin is at some time going to want to look for his children, which is where we go after that. Go ahead.
I mean, at this point, people have thought that Anakin died because we thought that ideal of it, Anakin just being dead.
True.
They didn't know necessarily. Well, specifically Obi-Wan, he didn't know of a Darth Vader, right? they just people just talking about Darth Vader going wrong. They just don't know. They didn't make the connection that Darth Vader is Anakin Skywalker, and so I feel like Owen, right? Yeah, I think you're in particular. You're talking about the conversation between Obi-Wan and Owen, right? That particular
Yeah.
one. I feel like he's more so protective of Luke at that
Yeah.
point because he knows exactly, what led Anakin down this route, and like he doesn't want that. He's basically like when you come in. I can understand from the fact of Owen's standpoint of like everyone in my family has basically died, right? Because of the Republic, because of the wars, because of the Jedi. I don't want my nephew, my son nephew, to turn out the same way.
Yeah, and that was what was kind of brutal. He's like, yeah, he
Yeah,
was like, he goes like, Owen, at some point I'm gonna have to train him. And he goes, what, train him like you did his father?
that's
And I was
fine.
just like,
Yeah,
oh, the ref takes a point away. That was a low blow. But
it's the truth, though. It's the truth.
and you know what's funny is like obviously we can sit here and we can watch it in hindsight, we can
Mhm.
watch it as an observant, but you know, we can go like, oh no, Owen, what are you talking about? It wasn't his fault.
Yeah,
But there's moments where you go like, wow, I mean, did Obi-Wan train him well? Did he miss a step? But I
yeah.
think too that it was
Oh,
always there, and I think that they did a great
yeah,
job at telling that story in the prequel trilogies.
yeah.
Was that it was always embedded in Anakin that he was weak, and
I,
he was going to
I'm
turn to that.
I'm I'm telling you, bro. Watch Clone Wars.
Oh, yeah,
Watch
absolutely,
watch Clone Wars. Watch the animated series of entire because you see this arc of Anakin being the greatest Jedi to the greatest, and his inevitable decline into Revenge of the Sith because it very much it was like he had all these tethers of like who his identity was and like who he is and who the and how he can stand in the Jedi Council. And when looking back now in Revenge of the Sith, how he's not being, how they're saying that, oh, you're not a master, you're not a Jedi master, right?
yeah,
You're just a Jedi Knight. We're denying you the Jedi master role. Well, you see why he's so pissed off at that because of all the war he's gone through in Clone War saga. You see all the things he's done. You see all his victories, him taking over separatist markers and monuments and all that stuff, and you see him just constantly always being on the front lines as a child, right?
yeah,
From a child to him being Anakin Skywalker before he became a Sith, he always has known war and fought as a Jedi. And so it's like you have this kid who all he knows nothing, just everything he's known from his life is the military. That's it.
yeah,
Military. And you don't give him what he thinks he deserves. And everything's being taken away. Ahsoka's gone. His relationship with Padme is semi not really there because in the final season you see that there, or near the final seasons you see that Padme, and this goes to Anakin's jealousy, where you possibly see a character in Padme's life where he was a dick before,
yeah,
and he was part of a separatist part of the order, right? And how he wants to go back and say, no, I apologize, I was an asshole. I want this to work with everybody because they're showing Padme as the hope of getting things back together in the Republic, and he's just super jealous. You see
yeah,
it. You see that their relationship becomes super toxic within the Clone Wars saga, and that was played out perfectly into Revenge of the Sith. And you see a lot of things from his relationship, his testy relationship with uh, with Obi-Wan going upwards, because in the Clone Wars saga, they're rarely together. The second
yeah.
that
But the very few that I've seen,
yeah, they're
they're
rarely
they're they're
they're
they're very
rarely
separate all the time.
yeah, they're rarely together because one, they became Jedi Knights relatively quick. He has his own Padawan now, or for Anakin, and so therefore he is seen as a general, and he's able to lead. And so they need them in different places. There was a certain time in the series that Anakin thought that Obi-Wan died, and he was so pissed off he went on a freaking killing spree to a certain extent against separatists, and found out that Anakin didn't die, but he was actually going undercover, and he was so heartbroken that he couldn't be able to tell them that. And so there's a lot of things that a lot of character things that was put into place where you can definitely pick and choose like or pinpoint like where Anakin falls as a character and why he goes into the dark side because of how much people have tend to leave him in a certain way and mistrust him and how his anger, how his jealousy and his not jealousy, yeah, his jealousy and as well
Yeah.
his need to try to control things and go away from the inevitability of possibly losing Padme, how he became pushed into the dark side, man. And I'm telling you, the Clone Wars, that's the reason why the Clone Wars got so many goddamn Emmys, man. Because it was so well done as an animated series.
Hi, Sarah. Atner, what's happening?
Hey, what's up, At? Bro, it's good seeing you again, man. I saw my boy at the definitely at the comics asylum.
I missed all the good stuff, man.
Yeah, bro.
It's been a minute since we've had the crew together.
Yeah.
It definitely wasn't like it was a few years ago. Obviously, people are still kind of easing back into normalcy. But anyways, yeah. So we're talking about. If you're just joining us, we're talking obviously about Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Obviously, this was a character piece about Ewan McGregor's Obi-Wan Kenobi. So I assumed we were going to see most of this story either around him or maybe some flashbacks or something like that. But the biggest reveal, I think, and it was so subtle, was we go to this planet, really super advanced, clean-looking planet.
Yep.
And we see this this room, and we see a young girl being dressed in princess clothes. Yeah. And then we're like, oh, wait, bait and switch. That's not who we thought it was. And then you see this girl running through the woods.
The forest. Yep.
The forest. And we see this young girl, probably about 10 years old. And we go, couldn't be.
Yeah.
It couldn't be. And then moments later, we hear the mother, Leia, where are you? Yeah. And there she is. Spoiler alert for those of you who haven't watched it. If you're watching a review of Obi-Wan Kenobi, we're going to talk about it. I did not see that coming. I was like, wow, we finally, for the first time in 45 years, get to see what...
The relationship.
Well, no, we finally get to see the actual planet
yeah.
Oh my gosh, why did I just completely forget about what planet that is?
Same, dude.
Oh my gosh, Atner, save us.
No. Why did you make me?
Why did goodness. I just had it right before I was gonna make the comment. But I was thinking about that. I was like, we've never seen it. The only time we've ever seen this planet was it went boom.
Alderaan?
Alderaan. Oh my goodness. How do we not know that? We're terrible.
Yeah. Alderaan, so
finally get to see ground level of Alderaan. And that was kind of cool. A cool moment. Real quick before I forget, Deborah Cho, by the way, has done a fantastic job.
Absolutely.
At directing these first two episodes. And for those of you who don't know who she is, she was on the elite round table of directors who did season 1 of The Mandalorian.
Yep.
Of course, her, Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau, Taika Waititi, Bryce Dallas Howard, and oh my gosh, I always forget the last guy. I really apologize.
Oh yeah, he's great too. He's I hope he does more episodes too.
And it just in some of the episodes that she did, I can't think of them off the top of my head, but I just remember you could just tell. What I loved about season 1 of Mandalorian was that you could just really tell the difference in style between the different directors, and obviously some of the fan favorite episodes were Bryce Dallas Howard's. But no, so Deborah Cho, because of the success of her episodes that she had done, she was given the keys to the kingdom to do Obi-Wan.
Yep.
and again, she's just hit the
Hit the ground running.
hit the ball of the park.
Yeah.
I love that we got to go to Alderaan. I love that we are going to see Leia, and of course, it was Eric Estrada came
Yeah.
back to play Senator Organa.
Yep.
I'm sorry, yeah, Senator
Uh
Organa,
yeah.
and
It was great seeing him, man. And he's pushing through, bro. He looks, of course he looks older, and like
well,
I'm
it's supposed to be
glad
it says
there.
10 years in the future, but
Yeah. But like no,
but
still like just age wise, 20 years.
well, yeah,
Right.
he's also aged in real life like 20,
Yeah.
25 years, but
Yeah. But like it's great seeing him again. And overall, like the episodes pacing has been really good. Some people were gonna say it's slow, but then for me, that's been a fan of like the slow burns and wanting to understand, the overall emotional impact of the character and how just this isn't peak Obi-Wan, man. This is Obi-Wan that's been 10 years, hasn't practiced, just been butchering, whatever type of meat is out there in the desert and living
yeah,
off of the land for a bit for quite a while, as well as just forgoing any type of Jedi way, Jedi order. And it was crazy seeing this. Not to say, and that's not to say that the entire episodes have been perfect for me. There has been definitely a lot of like, there's been definitely some parts of it where I'm like, come on, man, you're taking my immersion away, type of thing. Uh, I'm okay. I'm absolutely okay with the Leia Obi-Wan relationship.
yeah,
Absolutely okay with it. Like it was bound to happen. We needed some type of like confirmation that Leia, since episode 3, knew about Obi-Wan, right?
yeah. And I was sitting there going, I was thinking about the same thing. Jr. was I think I'm like, wait a minute, wait a minute. They're not supposed to know each other. They're not. They can't meet. They can't meet. And then I started thinking about it. Wait, well,
You,
no.
you had to. You had to. Yeah. There.
Leia sent R2 specifically to find Obi-Wan
Obi-Wan.
Kenobi.
Yeah. And so it was like, okay, they had to have met some time, and so this could be it, right? This could be the
Yeah,
that point. I will say, I have to understand that this show isn't also projected to me. This isn't just my show. It's very much a lot of like, young kids growing up who want to see this. The whole thing of Leia being, trying to get kidnapped by Flea, who was awesome. It's good to see Flea in the
yeah,
show.
that was cool. I caught that right away. My wife's like,
Yeah, I like
"No, what are you talking about?" I'm like,
Flea.
"It's Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers."
Yeah, so the whole thing of like Leia running around the force, right, and these mercenaries doing a horrendously bad job catching her. I'm like, come on, dude, she's a 10-year-old. Stop it,
But this is also Leia, and I
Leia.
thought
Yeah,
what I thought it was great was the actress that played Leia, the young actress,
yeah,
and the people who wrote the character and the lines for Leia to
yeah.
perform really
She's
is a testament because, like her mother before her,
mm,
who was a Spitfire. I mean,
yeah,
Queen Amidala was a
yeah,
force to be reckoned with,
yeah,
and of course, the 10-year-old version of Leia Organa morphs into Princess Leia.
yeah,
That we grew up to know and love.
yeah.
And what's really funny is you have really and truly four different characters played by three different actresses. You have Padme Amidala, played
Mm.
by oh my gosh, I can't think of her name now.
Natalie Portman.
Natalie Portman.
Hmm.
You have this young actress playing young Princess Leia. Then you, of course, have Carrie Fisher, who
Yep.
played Princess Leia for 6 movies. And then you have Carrie Fisher by herself.
Yeah.
And really and truly, they all are the same person. And
Yeah.
it's really funny. My wife and I were having this discussion last night
Yeah.
about this. Is you have Padme, who is strong-willed, very my way or the highway,
Mm.
um, kind of just very stubborn,
Yeah.
and whatnot. And then you see this little girl is the same way, and then we know how Princess Leia is,
Yeah.
and then we know how Carrie Fisher was in real life,
Yeah.
and it's just so funny to see
Yeah.
the correlation of the four quote
I think,
characters.
yeah, the thing for me though is that I know I have to understand that I have to like really, continue to suspend my disbelief. She's still 10 years old. right? I think that's
Oh,
basically
I understand.
the whole thing for me is that like the interactions of how like her dealings of one her jackass cousin, right? I do
Oh, what
believe
a twerp.
this fucking head ass Jeffrey wannabe ass like really deserve to get punched in the gut type thing. That type of like that type of like dialogue. Great, I love that. Leia being chased through the forest and them clumsily falling because of trees because of a branch right there, and they had to sell it like oversell. Like to me,
That
dude,
was that I did.
that
Oh my
stuff.
gosh,
That stuff, right? Not
that was
overall,
brutal.
not Leia, the character. The things they had to do to oversell that situation, I'm like,
Yeah,
took me out of it. That was talk about, bro. Like, come on, man. Or like again, fast forwarding it because we see another scene of that is definitely it was definitely a foreshadow event for what happened when she didn't want to believe in Obi-Wan. Like, are you really a Jedi? And then like she does her whole chasing away thing, right? And like, child, you're being hunted. He just rescued you. You're getting kidnapped. Child, stop it. You're being unnecessary, right? And like it's like I get it. It's definitely a work of fiction for children of the new age to try to adopt and understand. But like it just took those kind of moments that just took me out of the episode, right? We're like, okay, cool. You run away from Obi-Wan for a good 10 minutes, right? I think 5-10 minutes. And the second he saves you and you has to push out that he's a Jedi, now you believe him. And then you
yeah.
have this conversation inside the station that they were in by saying that, like, should I trust this guy? And she's like, you should always be trusting the people. Like, what? Did you help me out? I'm like, you ran away from them for like 10 minutes. What are you talking about?
I
And
did
so
think it's funny though. Is it's a testament again. I think it's important to foreshadow how important how highly intelligent Leia Organa was.
yeah.
That and it was shown
Yeah.
in Carrie's performance over
Yeah.
in the original trilogy, was that when it became evident
Mhm.
that or when the scene where where Leia finds out that Obi-Wan
Obi-Wan.
is is being chased by
Yeah.
these mercenaries on the planet and whatever the planet where Obi-Wan comes to save
Yeah.
Leia.
Yeah.
And she goes,
They were after
"You're
you and you
basically."
were
She
going.
figured out you're bait, or I
Yeah.
was the bait. Like, you were here because they want to find you,
Yeah.
and they found out. Or she found out, or came to the realization very quickly that exactly what their plan was. That
Yeah.
they didn't necessarily want Leia; they wanted to flesh out
Yeah.
Obi-Wan, and of course, we found out that it was third sister that was Revo that was
Doing
planning
the whole
this, and of
thing.
course, that led
Yeah.
to the aforementioned demise of the Grand Inquisitor, which I'm sure
Which
we're not going to see the last of.
No, I'm pretty sure that too. And like, what's weird to me is that I forgot what type of species the Grand Inquisitor is, but we've seen that species already before, more properly within the prequel sequels. Where if you see the Grand Inquisitor in the animated series, right, his head isn't shaped that way. He looks very humanoid. But
Yeah,
then you have his species in in the Grand Council with the same type of head. So I'm like, okay, that's kind of weird, low budget type of stuff for this type of series where it's you have these amazing cinematography scenes, you have this amazing set design, and that's the oversight. So again, I'm kind of hopefully leaning on the fact that okay, this has to be intentional, right? The Grand
yeah,
Inquisitor doesn't look like this. So I'm hoping it might be more intentional than they're putting it. Granted, we have 4 more episodes of everything, and
yeah.
so hopefully it's that case. But man, like I fell in love with Star Wars all over again, man. The first
Absolutely.
episode, I
Oh,
fell in love with
both
it.
episodes were fantastic.
Yeah,
Real quick, to kind of put a bow on this one, don't want to spend too
yeah.
much time. And
Oh,
guys, go watch it.
yeah.
And
Before you say that though, I don't want to make it sound like I'm hating on Reba. I want to see
I,
what's gonna. Yeah,
yeah,
I'm interested in I'm interested in the character. It's just more so that for me, like, dang, I wish like her attitude, her demeanor, the way she's very snarky, the way very
oh
much she
my
feels
gosh,
like, yeah, the way she's
this is you put it too kindly, Jr.
yeah,
Third sister's a bitch.
she's a
Oh
bitch.
my god, she's a
And
bitch.
that's exactly Trilla, dude. She's very much that I'm in charge. No, I'm in charge. I'm in charge. because I'm the most
So
experienced here. And so I feel like that was Trilla all the way. That was Trilla all the freaking way, and I love that about her. And so
yeah,
I was hoping that we'd see that, but then again, we have this character that is, the third sister. This is technically her first appearance. I'm like, you know what, cool. We'll see how this goes. I'm pretty sure this is a first appearance. They've been referencing the whole the whole line of Inquisitors is just more so we haven't seen all of them in one point. We've heard of them. We've seen parts of the Inquisitor in other mediums, like comics specifically, but I think so far in live action or any type of animated form, we've only seen Trilla, sister. I think it was the fourth sister or something. She was one of the very first sisters in the animated series. We have Grand Inquisitor, uh, the fifth brother, and I think that's it. No, and one other one who was blind. He was in the comics, if I remember correctly.
yeah.
And so that was that. But again, I'm here for Reva. I want to see how I want to see where they go with her. There was some inclination that Trilla in the, again, spoilers, Trilla in the video game, there was a portion of like maybe she can come back to the light, come back to the good side, right? The light side.
Maybe.
It was there. She got beat by Cal. I beat her as Cal. And then the second that's like, oh, I want to come back. Or I see what I'm doing wrong. Darth Vader comes back. Darth Vader fucking just gets dropped in there and kills her. And we got to run from Darth Vader because we're a fucking Padawan at that point, right? And so that was that. And so I'm hoping that Trilla is somewhere in the universe, and she's a great character. She needs to be fleshed out a little more, yes, but still though, she was great in Fallen Order. I'm hoping Reba's great. We have 4 more episodes there. But yeah, I'm super excited. I'm super happy that it's one of those things where like the good karma that's been put in this show is letting me be open-minded to like the things that could happen. It could possibly be that they're gonna do something that might be horrible, that I might hate in the next 2 episodes. But the show right now is
Let's hope not.
yeah, it could happen. It could definitely happen. But then right now, this show has garnered up enough good karma for me to see it throughout. It's the same thing with Mandalorian. It's the same thing with Book of Boba Fett, right? And that's to say that both of those shows, there was parts of the show where it tanked, but because it garnered so much good karma with me, I watched the whole thing through and it made sense, and I'm happy. So I'm happily taking that approach with Obi-Wan right now. But go ahead, as you were saying.
Oh no. Let us know, guys, in the comments below what you guys thought. What was your favorite? What did you like? What did you dislike about it? I really didn't have anything else to add. I was going to add something, but I was like, no, I don't want to. I wasn't going to add it. So, yeah, just let us know what you guys thought. So we got side.
Yeah.
So we said we're going to try to. I think these are going to air on Fridays. I think this season.
Is it? Is it really?
I'll double check, and we'll make sure to post stuff online, guys. If they air on Wednesdays, we'll try to get the review out on Wednesday. If it's out on Friday, we'll get it out on Friday.
Yeah.
So we'll try to be a little bit better at that. With that said, we're gonna try something tomorrow. I don't know if JR is gonna be down, but
oh wait, you have to type it out for me in our private. You kind of have to, because I did talk to some people about it today, and if it's who you think if it's who you want to get an interview with, I don't know if that person is down. I'm gonna say that.
Well, no.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, they know.
Yeah. So we're gonna try. We're making no promises because we haven't done a test run of this. But we're gonna try to do a live show, at least a couple of them throughout the day.
Yeah.
At Comic Asylum tomorrow, of course, part of their 6-year anniversary. And we make no promises on any kind of interviews or guest run-ins or whatever. We don't know where Chick's going to put us. But there's going to be some fun activities going on at the store, and we're just going to talk about comic books and maybe we'll talk more about Obi-Wan. Maybe we'll talk about Star Wars Celebration.
Maybe we'll talk about some Yeah, maybe we'll talk about some other pop culture / real life news that happened in the last couple of weeks
Yeah,
or so.
yeah, we'll talk all kinds of stuff. Just kind of free form it.
Can we just talk about Amber Heard and Johnny Depp trial?
Which, by the way, has been sent to the jury. So yeah, maybe we'll talk about that tomorrow.
Yeah,
And how it's going to affect Aquaman, how it's going to affect Pirates of the
everything.
Caribbean going forward,
Yeah,
and if there is going to be any more Fantastic Beast movies. Who
yeah,
knows? But yeah, we'll talk about that. We'll definitely get
yeah.
hopefully we'll get a full review
Yep.
of Star Wars Celebration, because there is stuff literally going on as we
I
speak in
know.
Anaheim.
Mm-hmm.
Big news in regards to Ahsoka. Big news in regards to Mandalorian season 3.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so
Yeah.
maybe
Star
we'll talk
Wars
about that.
Survivor. Yeah, Star Wars
Oh,
Survivor
dude,
video
so much
game.
stuff.
That looks great. Yeah, man. Like Cal's there, just seeing Cal back and seeing possibly, hopefully, we get Night Sisters come back. Hopefully, I thought if those were seeing the trailer, I thought that the person inside that tube or inside the I forgot what they're called. It's the same tube that Boba Fett was in. I just forgot the name of it.
The Bantha Tank.
Benta Tank, right? I thought that was Trilla because when you initially see it, you see hair, and then I saw her fingers. I'm like, oh snap, that's Trilla, and then it turns out to be a guy. I'm thinking that guy is one of the Jedi's that fell in order that fell during Order 66. So maybe that's the case, but who knows? I'm down to play the game, and I don't like to end it on a weird note, but I just kind of have to because I said Amber Heard. Can I say it?
Go ahead.
All right, cool. I feel like because I've been diving deep.
Yeah, you've been obsessed with this case for a
Yeah,
while.
bro. Like again, I'm all for the voice for abuse victims, domestic abuse victims. You believe everyone who's gone through domestic abuse, but also at the same time, you have to understand timelines and the truth to it, right? I will say this: trying to understand Amber Heard's psychology and her motive now more than ever. I feel like she wasn't trying to take down a powerful man. I feel like she was trying to take his place more than ever.
Probably.
And it's wild to me because of how much an abuser tends to a certain level of abuser as well as a certain personality disorder tends to mimic their victims. And if you see throughout the whole trial of the whole entire week, she did quite nearly everything that Johnny did. And in the way she dressed, in the way she acts, always looking at him. I'm like, dude, that's kind of weird, for someone who has gone through domestic abuse, supposedly,
Yeah.
to try and antagonize this person when you should be afraid of. And so just thinking about that, man, like, dude, like, you're trying to replace him. You're trying to be him. Yeah. You're trying to take his place, type of thing, because of how jealous she was and the forms of jealousy that's been playing out. Again, uh, they were mutually abusive towards each other. They were mutually abusive towards each other, but one of them did ride a Me Too train and profiteered off it. That was always been my argument since day fucking one. One of them got money out of the whole thing. The other one got his life destroyed. So yeah, I'm Team Johnny all the way still.
And I
Yeah.
do love the fact that Jerry Bruckheimer has come back out and said, like, if we do Pirates, he's in.
Yeah, freaking, dude, like he might lose the case because it's a defamation case, and that all you need is one for Ember to win. But still, like, in the eyes of the public, and the reason why he got this whole thing made public, is so that they can see the evidence and see how she's fucking crazy.
He is absolutely crazy.
She's crazy, and she needs help. That's the thing.
Yeah.
She needs fucking help, dude. I'm not all about, all this burn the bitch and all that. No, like, dude, she needs fucking help. She has a child. I fear that.
Yeah.
That's scary, dude. And so, yeah, that's my just thing, man. Like, I've had so many friends and family members have that happen where I know the signs. I've seen the signs. Yeah. And that's happened to me at one point in time, too. So I understand. And so, yeah, that's just as political, or that is as pop culture in that aspect. I'll go today, man. Until again, we talk about fucking Ezra Miller and that fucking piece of shit too.
He's a lunatic.
Yeah.
Don't forget to write this. Get number down, guys. 760-424-2848 is our text line.
Yeah, my boy.
just in case we have any issues tomorrow if we do this
Yeah.
thing. Don't forget too, guys. There are multiple avenues to peruse this program. Of course, you can follow us on Twitter. We do broadcast on Twitter. We do broadcast on Twitch, on Facebook Watch, and yeah,
Look at
there's
that.
the official print. This is the exclusive print made by Pablo.
Yep.
And this is for Comic Asylum for the 6th anniversary. And of
Yep.
course, X23.
Yep.
And
It's the only made 30 of them. I
yep,
think they all sold out. And so I got number 30. I
I got
initially want to
number
get
23.
I initially want to get number 4, but I think that was already sold before I got there. I'm like, oh man. Yeah, man, it's canvas. So it's canvas cover.
So
Yeah.
shout out real quick before we wrap things up. Is I want to shout out Drew Yeager
Yep.
coming through once again on the killer crossover. That is, if you can tell, that is Bruce Campbell as the Sorcerer Supreme, Dr. Stephen Strange. The amount of work that Drew went to just to be able to prep that picture was great. And it's a testament to his work and his craft.
Just real quick. What numbers are they for Atner? My number is 30. I think yours number is 22.
23 out of 30. So yours is 30 out of 30, mine's 23 out of 30.
Yeah, Kenneth's got number 8, which is Kobe, and I forgot the other individual who I think he works there, but I think he just he's always there to help out. He got number 24. And to Mono, I don't know if that is a I don't want to sound out of pocket, man. Hey, thank you for joining the show. What's up? I don't necessarily know what language that is.
Neither do I. Not even make a chance at it. So
yeah, I don't want to get canceled for being ignorant as I am. But yeah, man, thanks for the shout out. I think.
Yeah. So what's up? Anyways, guys, thank you so much. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're on Twitch, on Face, or on YouTube, and ring that little bell for future notifications because we got a lot of stuff coming up. As we head directly to the end, our season 2 finale coming up here in a couple of weeks.
Yep.
I'm going to be going on a vacation for a week in the end of June. So we're going to wrap season 2 right around that time, and then we will come back and we will probably do Doctor Strange, because it has not officially been announced, but it's rumored that Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness will be hitting Disney Plus on June 22nd. So we will let the statute of limitations go on. Show up that shirt, Kevin. Let me see if I can get it. This is an OG. This is from year 1 Gwenpool consignment shirt from Comic Asylum. And I've gotten so many compliments on this. Matter of fact, I have a pink one too. It's the same picture of Gwenpool, but it's a pink shirt, and I've worn it to Comic-Con in San Diego. I've worn it to Amazing Con in Vegas. I got absolutely destroyed by Fabian Nacia, who of course co-created Deadpool. About it, but he was like, "Nah, dude, it's cool, whatever." But no, it's an OG shirt from year 1, and I love it. And
I think Pablo got done with your commission too. Actually, I saw it before I left.
I didn't do a commission unless there's something I don't know.
It wasn't you, or maybe it was the other Kevin then, because there was the Gwenpool that was done.
Well, I know that Pablo does do a Gwenpool. I actually have a decal of it. Now, I did get a commission done 2 years ago, I think it was, of its Gwenpool as a Mandalorian. And it's bitching. Him and I are actually going to work on something with that sketch. We might be turning it into some merch. And I am also working on possibly getting that print turned into a shirt. So I'm actually thinking about making all of my Gwenpool commissions into shirts to wear for Comic-Con, maybe 2023. So, all right, guys, have a great night. We will see you tomorrow. hopefully everything will work. If not, we'll do something on Instagram Live, or we'll rotate, but we'll figure it out, guys. Have a great night, Atner. Thank you so much for sticking with us. All the people that watched on Twitch, thank you guys, and yeah, peace. Enjoy
Peace.
Obi-Wan. So
yeah, I'm also most likely be streaming something on Twitch soon, possibly for which game. Yeah, man, I really do want to.
Do we
Yeah,
have any Star Wars games to play?
No, well, I might do a replay through of Fallen Order, or I actually might do another playthrough of Cyberpunk. So it just depends.
There you go.
Yeah, man.
So,
But yeah, man.
All right, guys, enjoy. Have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow.
Peace.
In broadcast.